item, and it cannot be found. It has to be bought. On that note, out of the 9 available shops, 5 of them will have their contents changed, such that you can have wooden arrows for 80 rupees rather, and small keys for 100. Following up on that, the small keys are now no longer dungeon specific. You can use keys wherever you want, but in easy and normal mode, the number of keys in the pool, and yes, the keys are part of the normal item pool as well, the number of keys in the pool has been reduced by 10. So you have to be very careful about your key usage, or else you'll have to buy more. And on that note, we saw a bottle in Link's house, and Cane of Burna at Uncle. That's going to be interesting.
One of my favorite starts. Definitely it makes a blind fight a whole lot easier. And I just like to see the way that they use the magic.
There's one more thing that's changed here for retro mode. There are 5 single exit entrances, for lack of a better term, that do not normally have items in it, will now have take any caves. 4 of them will give you a choice between a heart container and a blue potion refill, and the 5th one will have a free sword upgrade.
I mean, it's dangerous to go alone.
Of course, take this. And while the sword upgrade is taken from the normal pool, the heart containers are not. So that's 4 extra heart containers that a player can have, although the maximum of 20 still applies. And we have literacy right off the bat. Oh my.
And if you're looking for those rules, they are on the ALTTPR.com website. So you can go there and take a look. I think it's the general resources or questions, I believe.
Yep. And one thing, after looking through those rules, one thing that really stood out to me is, what if Zora has something important? Especially if they already have the bow, or if they get the bow early, that getting money for Zora may become a problem.
Not only might that become a problem, but we're also going to be looking at rupee count when Ganon comes up, as it's going to cost at least 200 rupees to Silver Arrow kill Ganon.
Unless they decide to go silverless.
Ooh, but would you want to go silverless in a race?
Depends on what level of sword you got. If you got at least tempered, it's probably feasible. If you gotta work out in your mind which is better, trying to go silverless or do a money grind for Ganon of all things.
I would love to see a money grind for Ganon.
So from what I saw in IRC, a lot of the runners here, there are a total of 10 runners in this race. It looks like a lot of them aren't really that familiar with retro mode as a whole, so might be seeing some interesting routing here.
Yeah, let's also keep in mind that since you have to buy the wooden arrows and the bow just doesn't come with it, let's see if anyone starts heading towards Eastern or Palace of Darkness without one of those arrows.
Mm-hmm. Of course, that's contingent on having the bow. If they don't have the bow, it doesn't really matter that much.
Of course, the one question I was asking myself before the race started was, what if Uncle gave you bow?
I was thinking about that too, and that would be kind of mean. I'm not sure if that would be possible in this mode.
Yeah, it would seem like it's just something not likely. Or like the lamp cone is normal in normal modes, where they just kind of give you the lamp for the escape. Maybe after escape is over, they stop with the arrows. But if anyone does know for sure, please let us know.
Yeah, that's a rather niche situation there.
In any event, we will see kind of a standard escape here with the Cane of Burna. We do see that they have Bloomerang, and they are all literate, which is great. Education is fundamental. But they are going to be working their way here through the back of Escape and heading their way over to Sanctuary. I'm looking forward to see if anybody's going to check Lumberjack and where exactly everything's going to change.
And I was just informed in chat that the bow is disabled as a starting weapon in retro mode, so they did think of that.
They sure do think of everything. Ooh, we do see a bomb drop here for Zelga. Let's see if anybody actually sits around and tries to use some of their magic to farm bombs.
And we're focusing so much on the new mode of things, we didn't even introduce the 4 runners we have. We have Mafia Guido, Hydropower 78, Zelga Disson, and Sabotender.
All great runners respectively. Please make sure to go ahead and give them a follow. Follows are free, and they're almost always running some kind of Link to the Past randomizer. Ooh, we do see a hook shot. Was that an ice rod?
I believe so. And got a refund on his bombs too.
That's going to give Zelga a huge advantage going forward.
Definitely. Because I wouldn't expect any of the other runners to go back there until they get the Power Glove.
Yeah, that's going to be huge, especially if he gets Death Mountain access, because then he's going to be able to actually check the east side of Death Mountain. All right, we are starting to see a little bit of broad divergence here immediately. Zelga looks like he's going over towards maybe a Houlihan, while Mafia Guido is going up towards Lumberjack. It also appears that Hydra is doing that same Houlihan.
Yep, and ooh, bomb drops from the Bush Crab. That is nice.
That's an explosive crab there. Ledge just has 20 rupees there, so Aghanim, at least getting an item, Aghanim is not required for that.
Right, and more bombs in the Lost Woods.
I bet everyone is just yelling at the game like, why couldn't this be just a little earlier?
Yes. And noticing that people going into random caves, that's referring to the Takeny caves that I had mentioned earlier. They have to be in single exit entrances, or like not pass through, or whatever I'm trying to say. And they cannot have items normally. So, like, say your mini Moldrum cave can't turn into a Takeny.
And there's a lot of those little caves, so let's see if people who are used to running standard or open normal modes are going to remember to check those.
And it's not even limited to caves, or the various usually pointless houses in Kakariko and Village of Outcasts could probably be in that pool as well.
They'll also have to save up enough money to buy those arrows just in case they run with the bow. Now, we are seeing a lot of items come fast and furious. The bottom of Blind doesn't seem to have just too much, while really. Thieves' Cave has a bomb upgrade, a shield, a Bloopy, Moon Pearl, and a horror container. I actually did miss what Sabo had.
Sabotender found half magic. And there's our first Takeny cave, and Hydropower takes a blue potion. Which we do have a bottle, so that is a viable option.
Now, those heart containers in the Takeny caves are not taken from the regular item pool. They still can't go over 20, but it could get you to a higher max level count.
Correct.
Silvers!
Oh my!
That'll be $50.
Yep. And a sword. So maybe buying arrows might not be that important, but it's just a matter of how expensive that prospect would be.
You also have to look at, so it would take, 3 arrows per Armos Knight?
Sabotender, the bottle vendor, has the flute.
Oh, wow. I sure hope they have enough. Everybody looks like they are in good enough position to be able to buy from the bottle vendor. So this is going to be, at least getting around is going to be a lot easier.
And that's probably about the most efficient duck activation you may ever see.
Take 2 steps. Activate
And
duck.
oop, hydropower checks the pedestal. Looks like it was just a bomb expansion.
The pet is dead, boys. The pet is dead.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The back of the bombable hut has a key. Now, as you mentioned before, keys are universal, and there have been some keys removed from the item pool. So you might see them buy extra keys. I believe they're, 100 apiece?
Yes.
And you can continue to buy them from shops.
Yep. And it's 10 have been removed in the normal and easy mode. 15 have been removed in hard and up. And Sick Kid had a second bottle.
Back at Tavern had a bunch of bombs. So I'm starting to look at the item pools that are that everyone has. Of course, Zelga has a little bit more than everyone else, having gone and checked South Shore, now doing his Lost Woods checks. I'm not really sure where you would go with these kinds of items. What are you thinking?
Well, the hook shot definitely opens things up, though Death Mountain is not in logic right now. Well, it will be once Zelgadisson gets the flute. So
You have to think that's pretty soon.
Yes. I don't think Zelgadisson checked Ice Rod Cave. I think Mini Molder Cave was checked. I think that's where the Moon Pearl was.
That's correct, and he didn't actually go over towards Ice Rod Cave.
And I keep missing what was in the library. Oh, library has a key. Okay.
Carissa, one of our wonderful trackers, over here keeping us in check.
And thank you for that.
A bloopy from Race Game doesn't seem like much, but every little bit's going to count, especially with silvers already in your inventory.
Oh, yes. There's this. With silvers already in hand, would that make them more or less likely to buy wooden arrows?
There's a lot of situations where wooden arrows would really come in handy. Palace of Darkness, where you have to activate the statue, 50 rupee cost is pretty steep, where 10 rupees wouldn't be as bad. I mean, in that case, you're also only looking at, if that's the only reason you're going to look at, you're only looking at, a 10 rupee return on your investment, since you have to buy the wooden arrows for 80 rupees.
Right.
With all these items, it seems like there's some really tough calls that the runners are going to need to make. I see Sabotender over here heading towards Desert Palace. Did not check a Guinness Cave.
Brief check of the map. I saw there was a pendant in Eastern. I think it was the red pendant in Eastern. I did not see the others. I think Hera was a crystal though.
All right, Vitreous has 10 eyeballs. That's 500 in silver rupees plus another 100 to kill him. Wow,
Yeah.
This could get expensive fast. You'll probably look for them to do sword strats depending on what level they have, on what level sword they have at that time. So getting our first look here at the items in Desert Palace, can open that first chest for a compass. Looks like we might be key locked here in Desert.
Well, they have Sabotender does have keys.
Right, because
So
we're in
you
retro mode.
Yep, we're in retro mode. And hydropower finding another Takeny Cave and taking a heart container. Health has been kind of sparse so far.
It absolutely has. That's going to make our runners look for those one-off caves, just to take a look and see if they can find a little bit more.
If only because we know one of them is going to have a sword.
Chad over here making a good point, and that we're all just trying to save our rupees up and count and see exactly how much we're going to be spending in arrows. Saving the world gets expensive.
And the Ice Rod Cave has a piece of heart.
That might actually end up coming in handy with the little number of hearts that we have so far. With what the map is giving us and everything else, I'm guessing we're going to see most of our runners heading towards desert. We see Mafia setting up for fake flippers here, so it looks like he's going to check Hobo, Waterfall Fairy, and not Zora yet, since our capital gains are running a little low.
Yeah.
Mafia Wado over here, he is resetting available. That is something that you can do now that he is the Moon Pearl with the Flake Flipper trip. Basically, the Moon Pearl resets the state that Link is in. He's not even going to go check to see what Zora Ledge has, just going to immediately save and quit.
And Sabotender not going into the back of desert, instead going to check Agina's cave.
Hard to do without the power gloves.
Fair enough, true enough, I forgot about that.
It's okay, I forget about it all the time. So let's see what Agina has. It might look like after this, Sabo's probably going to hit a Death Mountain. That seems like the play that's going to be in the most logical for them.
Yeah, but without the hook shot, you can't really check for much. But Death Mountain checks already being made. Old man had 20 rupees. Sabotender Sprite is the... Oddly enough, it's the Sprite from Secret of Mana.
Mafia showing off why these runners are so amazing, going through those dark rooms with nothing but a little glimmer of hope from the end of his sword.
So it's shield on top of Spectacle Rock. I did not see what was in Spectacle Cave. And
yep.
Sabotender finds the hammer in the Sahasrah's closet.
Hammer time.
Apparently, it's something in Spectacle Cave is something good because Zelgadisson's going for it. Ah, it's a key.
Yeah, I definitely stopped to get that key too.
Yes.
So, we have a hammer on Sabo's side. Looks like he's going to go into Eastern Palace, even though it's pendant. And he is going to check those first couple of chests, see if something comes up. He does have a little bit of an edge now with that hammer above everyone else, but I do believe that pretty soon, with the options running thin with our item pool, people are going to be making that check towards Sahasrahla soon.
Yes, and it's kind of unfortunate that Zelgadisson didn't check Sahasrahla first, because then he'd be able to, after checking East Death Mountain, would be able to go right into Hera.
Not just go into Hera, but potentially complete it with all that extra damage that he'd have towards Mordorn.
Yeah, and you would only need one small key to check everything, assuming you even wanted to check the basement.
Who wants to check the basement?
Well, the one time you don't check it, that's where progression is.
Not that he really could without a fire source.
True enough.
Alright, we found our big key here in Eastern Palace, so it seems like there's not going to be much holding him back.
There's Power Glove and Paradox.
Oh wow, that's quite a find.
And it's going to be a while before anyone else finds that. So unless there's another glove somewhere, people might be getting stuck. And Green Pendant in Swamp. Because that one, the Paradox Cave, you need either the hook shot or the mirror hammer combo to get to it. Ooh, blue mail in the big chest.
That'll help out, especially with our low number of hearts. I'm trying to find where the logic could lead you, because you would need the glove to go back into escape, correct?
Correct. Unless you decided to go back in the long way. As in, go back through the sewers via the castle.
Ooh, but you would need a lamp for that, or be very knowledgeable in the game, which all these runners already are.
Right.
So we're starting to see a convergence of runners as a lot of the places that they're able to check starting to dry up. We see Zelga going back to Ice Rod Cave to see if he missed anything there. He, with his power glove, is also going to check a one-off cave here, and he's going to find that piece of heart. Stabotender saving and quitting from there, and
according to Chad, in standard mode, the sewers are permanently lit, so you wouldn't need the lamp to get through there the second time around. But that's still a way out of the way thing. So I could see runners save that particular option for until they have nothing else left to check.
Which could put Zelga at a huge advantage time-wise. Maybe 10 minutes.
Especially since he's about to head for the hospital and get the hammer. That one early bomb drop is already making this much of a difference.
With absolutely huge play. Hookshot is in the back of escape, for the people asking. Unfortunately, Zelga was the only one to get a 4-piece drop in the back there. All the other 3 featured runners were not actually able to get a drop. Didn't have much in the way of protection for themselves, since at that time it was only the Cane of Berna. Zelga looks with a glove and a hammer. Looks like he's going to go down and check Hype Cave. So we'll see exactly how hype that cave is. And Sabo over here is going to pick up the key from inside Spectacle Rock. Hydra heading towards Desert, going to be severely disappointed with the lack of items in there.
Goldenwoods is the blue pendant. Turtle Rock and Thieves Town are the red crystals. And Swamp is the green, but we already knew that. And we got a piece of hearts leading off Hype Cave. A bee in a bottle. So that's 3 bottles already. And not much else.
1 out of 10 hype.
At least Zelgadison did get an extra heart container out of the deal from the heart pieces he got, so that's still pretty good, especially since he didn't get dig Eastern and get the blue nail.
Mafia looks like he's going into the back of Eastern Palace. Maybe he's going to get himself some rupees from back there?
Oh yeah, there is a bit of a rupee cache back there, isn't there?
Correct.
Not something we see very often, though we're not exactly seeing it right now anyway.
I can see it. You can't? It's fine. I can see in the dark. No problem. Zelga checking Skull Kid. Didn't come up with much there.
Nope, just a single rupee.
You can see Sabo's brain working here a little overtime. He's heading towards 4, which is Link's house. Maybe he's thinking, need to go into the back of escape, don't have a way. It looks like he's going to be the first one to try going back in the long way. So this is actually going to pay off for him immensely, especially with already having the hammer. He's going to be able to immediately go in to Hera as well.
Quick 3 digs and for a bomb expansion at the dig game.
Another thing you don't see too often, Zelga digging for a couple extra rupees.
As mentioned before, rupees have a lot more importance now than usual. Although I noticed that he does have enough for Zora. Don't know if that's something that he's thinking about right now, though.
Zora play is... It's got to be the last thing that runners are thinking of. 500 rupees with the cost of arrows is just... That's giant. Not only...
To be fair, they don't have the bow yet. But I would think that if you're going to go Zora, probably be earlier rather than later, before the cost of arrows becomes an actual thing to be worried about right now.
Very true. Sabo finally making his way to the back of Escape. He's going to be rewarded handsomely with that hook shot.
Interesting to see the reaction to this. Okay. Maybe it's a bit too early for rage slashes right now.
26-minute rage would be fun.
So Goodison decided not to go into Skull Woods yet. Decided to check out what ooh, getting a key from the chest game. So I didn't think to do the math, so I don't know how many keys are in the pool in total.
I also did not think to do the math, but it's going to be very interesting as far as key usage, especially for some dungeons like Palace of Darkness, where there are some doors you can just leave locked.
Not to mention Turtle Rock. So, just told in chat, apparently 20... Ooh, hello, Lamp. 29, is that factoring in the 10 that was removed from the pool?
Sabo just finding those power gloves, so he's going to be making his way to the rest of Death Mountain and possibly clearing Hera here. So that'll be our first look into Hera. Zelga did find another bottle, and we're going to see probably a big key here. There it is.
So, in easy and normal mode, there's a total of 19 keys to be had before buying some in shops.
I do remember correctly, excuse me, the keys under pots and on enemies have not changed, correct?
That is correct, yes. So at least those are still up for grabs. But that also gives Hera's kind of a valuable play in that regard, because unless it turns out there's an item in the basement, you can go through the whole place without using up any small keys. And even then, you'd only be using one. Same with Thieves Town.
And if dips into Skull Woods is not necessary, that does save quite a number of keys there. Though they might go in there just to steal a couple keys from underneath the skull.
Yep.
So we are seeing Mafia finally heading back towards the back of Escape, so is Hydra Power, while Sabo gives us our first look and finds a Titan's Mitt.
Oh, wow.
In Hera. Wow, what a find.
Yes.
Now it looks like Sabo did not find the big key, so he is leaving Hera until he has a fire source. Zelga will not have that issue, and neither will anybody who leaves Hera until after they go into Thieves Town.
And, I'm a little surprised Sabo Tender didn't read the Ether Tablet, just to see what it has.
That could have potentially saved some time. Also, we gotta know, man. You gotta tell us. We're starving for information here.
So is Zelda gonna go after that one last item in Thieves Town? Looks like it. The big chest. And gets a refund. Totally not worth.
No frames saved. 0 out of 10.
But knowledge was had, peace of mind, if nothing else.
We are going to see one of my favorite fights.
There we have our first shop, and Zapatender does buy the wooden arrows and the small key as well.
Zelda sticking to the script here and doing very admirably on blind. Perfect blind fight there from Zelda.
And gets the Cane of Samaria.
By God, it's Kane!
And that is our first crystal.
31 minutes in, first crystal. You can tell the retro mode and the item placement doing its job and slowing these runners down and giving us just that extra bit of Zelda, which we all love.
Zapatender heading into Super Bunny Cave.
Zelda over here finding a shop, and he's going to purchase the wooden arrows and a key as well. I didn't get to see, did Super Bunny Cave return anything?
I don't think it did. Got to see what Medallion Turtle Rock is, and it is Ether.
Interesting to see that none of the medallions have been recovered yet. So that's going to be something that we're going to be looking forward to.
So we got Zapatender in Hookshot Cave.
Not finding much of interest besides rupees, which I guess,
Never mind. Never mind.
I stand, sit, corrected.
Oh boy. Although, to be fair, that doesn't really unlock too much. Well, now they can't even do ice cave, ice palace, because no fire rod, no bombos.
It would unlock a dip into Green Pendant Swamp Palace.
No mirror.
Oh, right. Yeah, item pool really not giving us much to play with here. Probably going to stretch out the item locations that we're going to have to check here.
Zelgadison is farming for money. Are we? Or maybe not. I was thinking maybe looking into perhaps Zorplay, but he's probably just checking entrances. Zapatender and Hydropower going into Skull Woods at the same time.
I feel like this is a really good play with the number of doors that you can skip if routed correctly, and the number of keys that you can find.
Ooh, mushroom.
Do you like fetch quests?
Who doesn't? Besides the runners.
Twitch chat likes fetch quests.
But with the knowledge we have Hammer, we have knowledge of the Cane of Samaria, fake powder glitch.
It's definitely going to be something that's going to be in Zelda's mind if he goes into Skull Woods. Unfortunately, the rest of our runners just don't have that option yet.
And Zelgadison looking to finish off Desert.
He's going to have an interesting Landmalus fight here with the Ice Rod. Going to have to be a little bit more careful as those ice shots go quite a bit slower than the Fire Rod shots that people normally use on Landmalus.
And it looks like Sabotender might have checked the bumper cave. I didn't see what was on the ledge, though.
Sabo does have access to the Mire area, could gain some knowledge as to what's required in Mire and at least check the shed. Unfortunately, he can't check checkerboard because no mirror. So we're 36 minutes in. Let's take a look at where the runners have. Sabo does have the Titan's Mitt, which he found in the Tower of Hera, along with Mafia Guido. Zelga has not been back since the first time he took a trip to East Death Mountain. He did not have the hammer, but has it now.
Master Sword in the skull with big chest.
That is a huge find.
Though I noticed that, did Hydropower not search through Tower of Hera? I don't see Titan's Mitt.
I think he saw that big key and immediately dipped out.
Okay, and it's just a heart piece on Bumper Cave Ledge. And Sabotender gets his lamp.
Interestingly enough, I'm finding that it's a lot more to keep track of with retro mode, with having to keep track of not only the keys that you have, but also your rupee count at all times, especially with having to buy the extra small keys if you need them. And these item locations aren't making things any easier for the runners either.
So right now, Sabotender has the lead in key count with 6. So it's not something, it all depends on whether our runners will be keeping tabs on that, or if they're only going to watch out for it if they're at like 1 or 2.
Too bad there wasn't an any key that was added to the item pool, right?
Oh yeah, that would have been lovely.
Mafia over here checking Spike Cave.
Hydropower finding that was a different shop layout for getting the wooden arrows.
Yeah, was that a 500 rupee fire shield?
I think so.
And not much coming out of Spike Cave either. Zelga doing a much better job with the Ice Rod than I would be doing. Having, 2-cycled the Lamellus Worms and going to get a 300 rupees and a Crystal for his trouble. 300 rupees are definitely going to be helpful with a potential Zora check as well.
Yeah, normally we wouldn't think much about 300 rupee drops from the boss, but here and now, yeah, I think we'll take it.
Chat letting me know that there is quite a bit of money to be had in Spike Cave, so it's quite a find for Mafia there. Zelga looking like he's going to be one of the first runners to go into... Oh, nope, it looks like he's doing Eastern. I thought for a second he would be doing Palace of Darkness.
And especially with this being a pendant, I wouldn't think Zelga would try to full clear this without a bow. It's possible. It would just take forever.
This is what, 46 hits with a boomerang per Armos Knight?
Something like that, yeah. And Hydra found arrows in a different shop, so that's why I didn't buy the arrow in the other one.
So another convergence here with most of our runners heading into Deepstown. Going to be able to find the lamp here as Hydra's the last one of our runners to pick it up. Him and Mafia not too far off. Item count's looking a little bit off kilter as Mafia has been able to actually go into Death Mountain and check there, while Hydropower has decided not to check East Death Mountain just yet. Hydropower will be able to clear Tower of Hera on his first go around, so I guess not having to double dip Hera, pretty good deal for him.
I don't think our tracker has the capability of showing wooden arrow without the bow, at least not as of now.
I do believe all of our runners do have it though, unless maybe there's one missing the wooden arrow.
I know at least 3 of them do. I'm not sure if Mafia did.
And we do know already that this is not going to be a pedestal seed. So the killing the Armos Knights is not going to be required. It would just be a substantial waste of rupees and or time.
So the question now becomes, where do we go from here? They do have the means of getting the big key out of the Hera basement. It's just a matter of what else. Can't check Meyer or T-Rock because they don't have any of the medallions yet.
You can check Meyer Shed, which would be an option. By the way, Zelga, that death was intentional. He was taking a death warp out of the dungeon. And you can also check Swamp Palace. I mean, we have flippers.
No, we don't have mirror yet.
We don't have mirror. That that mirror's tripping me up. Amazing to think that 40 minutes and we still don't have that mirror. Such a big key item that we will desperately be needing.
Well, looks like Zelga's heading to pod.
So this will be our first check of pod here. Gonna see if it's... Well, it won't be bow locked because we have the extra keys in retro mode.
Ah, yes, of course. It's just a matter of how many keys are you willing to spend. Because you're not guaranteed to find a whole bunch of keys in here, but you might be finding a whole lot of other things, which might be half the reason why Zelga's checking this right now.
Hydropower and Mafia giving each other a high five on the way out of the big chest. Always fun to see runners converge like that.
Yeah, Sabotender grabbing the bullfrog.
It's going to be very interesting to see which play actually pays off the most, whether it's going to be Zabotender's Blacksmith Chain or Zelga's Pod Trip. Now, I'm kind of surprised that Zelga hasn't decided to go back and at least clear Hera before jumping into a pendant dungeon. What do you think his train of thought is here?
It's... Hera's probably on his mind, but he's the only one that hasn't actually gone into Hera yet, and it might be a bit of a long trip just for that. Especially since he was already right here, having cleared out most of Eastern.
Zelga laughing at our not being able to clear out the right side with the potion glitch,
Ah, yes.
proving commentators wrong is a speedrunner's job.
I knew that glitch was there. I just didn't think it was something that we'd be seeing today.
He does find a map here. Let's see what the other chest has. A piece of heart. But at least that does take any worry out of his mind of whether or not something important is back there.
Yep. Looks like I'm getting a pyramid check from Sabotender.
Taking that bullfrog on the world tour. This here is the Great Pyramid of Hyrule. Built in 1991 by our Lord Ganon. This features a prominent fairy hidden inside the pyramid, as well as a disturbing lack of anything useful.
At least on the outside.
There's not much useful on the inside either, just a really expensive fight.
Well, there's still the aforementioned fairy. But of course, we need to go through T-Rock first. Bugnet for Zelgadison. And it looks like Salvotender's wrapping up the Dark World World Tour with a visit to Catfish.
Let's see what the big angry fish has for us today.
Oh no, more fetch quests!
I love fetch quests. Hey Melee, do you want to do a fetch quest?
We might not have much of a choice since Salvotender finding a shield at the fish. Which means we've seen all three shields now, with the third one being on top of Spectacle Rock.
Probably not something that the runners are going to be looking for, since it does cause a little bit extra lag. Zelga getting a nice payday with picking up all those blue rupees in the basement. He looks like being in a pretty good rupee position so far, even though no one has visited Zora.
And just keeps finding more. And more.
Looks like he's going to be taking a Death Warp out of here. I'm guessing his next play's got to be going back into Death Mountain and finishing Hera. That'll at least give him another crystal, he's already in the crystal lead.
Well, he's not done in pod yet.
Sabo looks like he's setting up for the fake powder glitch. See what the bat has for us.
I didn't see what the blacksmiths had though.
I'm going to trust our wonderful trackers and say it wasn't much.
And there's 5 rupees at the bat.
I'm going to curse you with 5 rupees. Mwahaha.
So we're starting to get the fetch quest out of the way. Zelgadison looking to do some digging. And Sabotender on a similar front, turning in the mushroom. And Hydropower apparently visited the Ether Tablet. I did not see what it was, though.
Both of our fetch quests, not only the shovel but also the mushroom, giving us nothing but heart containers. At 15 minutes in, we're looking a little slim. At the most, Master Sword, which is hiding in the big chest in Skull Woods. And we are still missing the mirror, the fire rod, the medallions, and the bow.
heart container on Lake Hiley Island.
And Sabo did not get just close enough for me to see exactly what the medallion was needed for Meyer.
Oh, there's the powder.
At least those 60 rupees he wasted on the green potion will put his mind at ease that
And the medallion was Quake.
Is that the medallion for Meyer?
Yes.
Great job to whoever spotted that. Zelga finding a one of those special retro mode caves.
Noticing most of the runners, I think only one has actually taken a heart container out of those. I think all the other times it's been taking the potion. It's looking like one of my half premonitions is coming to pass regarding Zora. It's either going to be Zora or Hera. That's where our progression should be at this point.
Zelga going to check Hobo here for us while Hydropower makes his way up toward the big angry worm. Hobo did not give much. It was a piece of heart. $50 rupees going to be the first item here out of Hera. And Big Chest is going to have a compass, so Hydropower will take a dive back down and make his way back up.
Even though we had seen what was in Waterfall give. Oh, Salvatender is going to get a free potion refill here. And no, it's a green potion.
Now, interestingly enough, Zelga does have enough money to check to check what Zora has, and is going to be kicking himself because he's one of the only ones without flippers making this check. Ooh, the ledge has Quake, which is going to be needed from Meyer.
Medallion.
Very nice. Zelga going to be in a rough spot, not having the flippers currently to go in and get it. He's going to have to come back to that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Hydropower taking out Oldorm.
Sabo is going to skip Zora since he doesn't have enough money, and hopefully he doesn't come back for it since it's a 500 rupee hard piece.
I would think that especially since it was a heart piece, that if you spend all that money, you ain't getting that money back. Might as well pick the thing up.
Probably just in anger leaving it.
And Moldorm felt bad about us having to go all that, having to spend a key just to complete it, so he gave us the key back.
It's very thoughtful of him. We should write a thank you card. We'll give it to his big brother. We'll see him at the end.
And before there's a key at the validation chest.
Zelga looks like he's going to be spending some money on those keys. I'm pretty sure I saw that you were able to reset those shops, so maybe he'll go back in and check to see if he can reset it. Nope, not going to waste his time.
Yeah, he tried just walking out of the room, and that didn't work. So I having to go all the way out to the overworld and go back in. Yeah, that's a bit of a time to go. Yep, for retro modes, arrows now cost money like they did in Zelda 1. 10 rupees for a regular arrow, 50 rupees for a silver. There's also the keys can be used in any dungeon, although now there are less in the pool than there would normally be otherwise. And there are various take any caves, plus a free sword, which we have not seen yet.
Zelga looks like he's going to head over to Ether Tablet as well before completing Hera.
To be fair about the cost of the arrows, you're not going to have 1,000 rupees in Zelda 1.
Free sword upgrade, just like Zelda 1 with the old man and the sword. There is an old man in a cave somewhere in a single entrance, one-room cave that has a sword upgrade.
And unlike the heart containers, the sword is taken from the pool, so if nobody finds that, the best word we can hope for is tempered.
Zelga showing some frustration at the placement of the Titan's mitts. Now I wonder. Well, he doesn't have ether, so we're not going to be able to check Turtle Rock as far as that's concerned.
No. And just realized that it forgot something.
Would be lying if I said I've never made the same mistake. Sabo completing his landless fight with the Ice Rod. Got rewarded with that crystal, and this is the first duck, but takes the second duck out.
Yeah, he exceeded the weight limit for the first flight.
That is a hefty sprite.
Well, he was carrying a rock at the time. Fortunately, can't do fancy things with the no dunking, so I decided to just take out the bird before even opening up Mire.
Zelga was taking a coffee break, but now it looks like he's setting up a death warp here. Chasing those mini Moldors around.
And Sabotender heading for is inside Mire, which can be full cleared right now. As in technically full cleared, though taking out Vitreous with what they currently have would be a chore.
How many sword slashes would it take with a fighter sword to kill one eyeball?
Way too many. That's the only answer that works. Way too many.
I'd be surprised here, unless he finds the bow, to actually have Sabo finish with the fighter sword. That's got to be a lot of time. It might actually be easier just to come back with a sword upgrade,
which we know is in Skullwoods. To be fair, they do have the hammer, but still, the hammer hitbox against the eyeballs, I probably wouldn't want to do that myself. Of course, they do have a good bit of bombs. Bomb strats might be a viable option.
Absolutely. It's still going to take quite a bit of damage to take down the big eyeball at the end of all that, though. So it's going to be interesting to see, and we might learn a little something at the same time.
And Mafia taking out Landmolas. Zelga Distant. Ooh boy. Getting knocked around a bit by Moldor. Oh, wow.
That was a clutch hammer hit there at the end.
No doubt.
Without Fire Rod, gonna have to do this the cutscene room in a little bit of a longer way, but gonna be totally worth it if there's something magical at the bottom.
Yeah, so 12 bombs to take out one eye, but it is likely that you can hit multiple eyes per bomb, but still, that still will take a while. And Hydropower finding their Quake medallion. And there's Ether.
Totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the first item out of Meyer, so we do have one more left, which is probably why Sabo's going back in. Has not checked under the switch of the skull, so he's going there next, and then I'm guessing if that's not an item, off to the big key chest to see if something's there.
And well, there's the big key. Right, guys, I was thinking it's two items in Meyer normally, but factoring in the whole key thing. I forget how many keys they would have. Apparently, according to Carissa, one of our lovely trackers, apparently it'll be 5. Since there's 8 chests minus the 3 main dungeon items.
Good thing our trackers play a lot of Quisanity.
Yep. Putting those skills to use.
Zelga can't be happy about finding the flippers there in Hookshot Cave after just heading towards Zora.
Yeah, but I don't think they had checked Meyer, so I don't think they have gotten the unfortunate news on that yet. So Zelga Distance making use of the bug net.
Sabo is going to be making his way towards Vitreous, so we're going to see that elusive fighter sword fight over here.
This might be interesting.
This is going to be fun to watch.
How goes about this.
Zelga deciding to use that fairy immediately and going to get a little bit richer for it.
Given that Zelga Dissonant has the most money out of our 4 featured runners, you would never have known that they had already checked Zora. And is the only one that has.
Not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited to watch how this Vitreous fight goes.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a doozy.
Especially with Hydropower is also in Meyer. We'll see if they they head into the back end of things.
With Master Sword, it's going to be a little bit easier. Not any more fun, but definitely a little bit easier than the small reach of that Fighter Sword. And he looks like he's going to be using bomb strats here, wasting up those 23 bombs. So hopefully he's able to hit a lot of eyeballs, and there's not too many trolls in that pool.
Yeah, hitting at least 3 or 4 eyes per bomb. Just gotta be careful that the bomb doesn't blow up in your hand for one, and watching out for the lightning.
Zelga just received the unfortunate news of the need for Quake to go into Meyer.
But he knows where Quake is. It's a matter of whether he goes back to get it now or decides to see what else he can check in the meantime. Which I don't really think is much.
Switched to hammer strats there, but decided that it was taking a little bit long, so going back to those bombs for a little.
Well, about half the eyes are already down. But that health. Ooh, jeez. That was a bit of a stray lightning bolt that almost got him.
This is a heart-pounding fight. My palms are sweaty just watching it. I can't imagine what they're thinking here.
Yeah, Vitreous is trying to take aim too with that lightning.
Finally getting all those little eyeballs down. Got a red potion here, so we're going to see a hammer Vitreous takedown, and hopefully he's able to get him into that corner there. 2 hits here. 3rd hit, 4th hit, making it like a champion.
And down goes Vitreous.
Perfect Vitreous fight there with the hammer, and gets rewarded with 20 rupees and a crystal for their trouble.
Crystal's the more important thing.
That's got to be one of the most impressive fights I've seen throughout all of the randomizers. I mean, just having the knowledge and the courage and trusting your skills. Trusting your skills to go back there. That's amazing. Mafia Guido, of course, over here making a play into Ganon Tower.
That's not sure. What would that serve exactly?
Maybe he's trying to get the key out of this chest and then leave?
Yeah, there is a couple chests here, yeah.
No key in there, though. No, I didn't know much about Sabo, but I am a fan after that fight. That is seriously impressive.
Yeah, it looks like we might be something similar out of Hydropower. He's heading it.
Yeah, no, that's completely true. Yeah, with this being a retro mode, there were 2 items in Agonim's Tower, and he was looking for those items. Great knowledge of a retro mode. Didn't pay off for him, but at least he had the knowledge to check there.
Which for someone that would play Key Sanity pretty often, that's knowledge you would get from that too. Yeah. It's just a matter of, is it worth spending one of those very valuable keys to check for that?
Unfortunately, this time, no, but could have been. And at least the worries off their mind.
And Zelgadis about to get their Master Sword. And I was wondering if they had gotten the blue mail out of Easter, and I see in the menu that they did.
So let's take a look at Sabo's items, since he seems to be, well, I mean, he's pretty much going to be in the lead once finishing Tower Hera as far as crystals are concerned. You have an Ice Rod, you have Titan's Mitts, and you have the Cane of Samaria along with a hammer. You have what you need to enter Turtle Rock. Do you check the chests there and see if you can find Fire Rod?
And I see Hydropower doing Cane of Burner strats and using them to good effect, thanks to half magic.
And having that Master Sword instead of just the Fighter Sword.
Yeah, that too. Didn't take long to take out the eyes.
They're also going to be using hammer strats, so we'll see that eyeball go down in no time here with that level 3 sword damage.
And Zelgadis is a repeat customer at the key shop. That's 2. How many more are they going to get?
I mean, I feel that the answer has to be all the keys.
Yeah. After, you don't have a bow, so you don't have to worry about spending money on arrows. Already paid off Zora. Already paid off Kiki, too.
Also have to be a huge relief knowing that you don't have to spend all that money on arrows for the Armos Knights.
At least the ones in Eastern. There's still the ones in Ganon's Tower to think about.
I'm gonna be guessing right after this, Sabo's gotta go into Turtle Rock. I'm not sure what other play you would make with the items that we have, and missing that mirror. You can't go into Ice Palace yet because you don't have a fire source. Can't check the 6+ chests in Skull Woods.
Not to mention, there's still the 2 chests in Turtle Rock you can't check because no fire rod.
Right, but with the keys that we have,
that might be one thing that would be holding off that idea.
we could go all the way to Laser Bridge though, and we'd only, I mean, if the big key's locked, then all we'd be missing at that point would be the big key chest. Well, I guess you can't go all the way to Laser Bridge without the big key. So if it's in that first chest.
Yeah, unless the big key is fire rod locked in, they have enough keys to get through. Now that I think about it, retro mode. Right, that is the thing we're doing.
Guess which 2 people are going to be sitting around playing a lot of retro mode tonight. That's us, by the way. Spoiler alert.
So it looks like Sabotender is heading in the direction of Turtle Rock.
I'm feeling in my gut this is the right play. I mean, maybe that fire rod is right there in that first chest off to the left, or on one of the chests not too far off in. It feels like the best place to go. Not to mention one of the only places that we know hasn't been checked.
They can't check the back end of Gold because no fire rod. They could go after Helmasaur King, I believe. They have the means of doing that, I believe.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I wasn't counting chests that we found in Pod when Zelda was going through.
I think they got everything except for Helmasaur itself.
Hydropower finding his 300 rupees and 4th crystal here out of Desert Palace.
Oh, right. We need the bow to get to Helmasaur. Right, I forgot about that.
Which the bow is in Turtle Rock.
Oh,
first chest. Oh boy. What a play here. Now those two items are going to be locked on the right-hand side, so it might be something that they have to go back for. But if the big key ends up being here soon, this could be a huge play.
And if Fire Rod happens to be there as well, they could just take out Trinex, and then get those last 2 chests afterwards, because you'll be right there after the Trinex fight.
Not to mention, it opens the Great Pyramid, the Pyramid Fairy.
That too. We have possibilities. Oh, Fire Rod and Mimikate would be mean.
And we would still need a mirror for that.
Yeah, that's why it would be mean.
You played a lot of Randomizer, right?
I've not as much as our runners have, but I've done my share.
Oh, absolutely. But when have you ever known Randomizer to be nice?
Fair point. Just knows earlier today I was trying my hand at the Mega Man 2 randomizer, and I was getting trolled in an interesting way on that one.
Randomizers are so great, especially with these streams, just showcasing how much practice and work goes into these runners' preparation. Big key right smack there in the middle, so we are able to go all the way to Laser Bridge and actually finish Trinex without having to check those 2 chests on the right-hand side. Now, of course,
can't can't go after Trinex without Fire Rod.
I was just gonna say, what a troll it would be to have Fire Rod on Laser Bridge, and then something like, or Mirror in Laser Bridge, and then Fire Rod in Mimic Cave.
Oof, that would be a little rough, yeah.
Rougher scenario, we have the bow, so going to Helmosaur and finding the Fire Rod there.
Not to mention, Sabotender's the only one that didn't get the Master Sword out of Skull Woods. Yep, bow was indeed in T-Rock, first chest.
With as many locations as they've checked, it's gotta be killing them to move. Oh, Mirror!
There it is. Well,
I'm able to check Mimic, amazing. Wow.
That's about the best spot it could be in, honestly.
So, Flute in the best place, Mirror in one of the best places. Seed is laughing at every runner right now.
Mm-hmm.
Will we see the Fire Rod here? Will we? No, just another key. We do still have another prayer of it being on Laser Bridge, so RNGesus hasn't given up. Don't give up hope yet to RNGesus.
Already seeing a call for GT being boots locked.
Twitch chat going Twitch chat. Which we love you guys.
Yep. If you guys weren't there, we wouldn't be here.
Speaking of Twitch chat and us being here, guys, these run. Oh, Pegasus boots.
There's the boots.
There goes that idea.
Yep.
Guys, if you haven't given our amazingly talented runners a follow, please go ahead and give them a follow, as well as our trackers. Actually, one of our trackers, Carissa, has been in chat doing what they do amazingly, keeping us up to date not only with their Sanity strats, but also in check as our standard and normal mode brains try to wrap our heads around all these keys and extra chests that we can check.
Plus our other tracker, our coordinator as well.
Absolutely, I apologize for leaving you out. So, Laser Bridge making us a little richer immediately. Fire Ride on Laser Bridge.
Turtle Rock has everything.
Turtle Rock amazingly immediately the right play. Called it.
Yeah, Swamp is a green pendant, so as of now, that's probably not on people's radar right now. Especially not now.
And that is absolutely go mode for Sabotender. They have everything they need. Gonna go finish Palace of Darkness, gonna go finish Ice Palace, and right after this Trinex fight, which with their level of competency that they've already shown with a Vitreous Vitreous fight, I'm guessing is gonna be just so easy for them.
Yeah, I think, are they gonna find the Master Sword in Skull Woods? They probably wouldn't even go back there now.
Or are you going to make a play to see if there's a sword upgrade in GT?
Maybe. Because you need at least Master Sword to beat Ganon. And Zilgad isn't using spin strats on the eyes.
With as talented as they are, I've got to believe that they're willing to take the chance that there is a sword upgrade in GT, which would save them time, and they'd probably be more than prepared to do a Master Sword Ganon.
And the thing is, there's only oh dear. Vitreous giving Zilgad in the business for a little bit, but he recovered very nicely.
Coming out clutch with the one heart. Very nice. Purple chest here, only giving us 20 rupees, I believe. Hydropowered over here. Hydropower. Gonna check to this one-off cave to see if something. Nope, it's just the berry that's normally there.
So the thing is, there's one cave that's going to have a free, one cave somewhere in the world that's going to have a free, free sword. There's only one other sword upgrade out there. And Trinex has bombos.
That at least is going to make a fire rod Vitreous spike much easier for Sabo, since they won't have to spend as much magic opening up the shell for Colts there.
I thought you said Vitreous for a second, but yeah.
If
Not
I did,
even
I
not even
apologize.
checking those last couple chests in Turtle Rock either. Interesting decision. Well, he is in go mode. But it would be interesting if that's where one of the sword upgrades was.
Oh, absolutely. And if they're not able to find a sword upgrade in GT, maybe one of the first places that they check. So Turtle Rock was absolutely the right play. Zelga going to be handsomely rewarded for taking the dip into Turtle Rock here, even though they seem to have exhausted all the rest of their choices. Sabo able to go fast with the boots and has everything they need. Save the Master Sword to get all the way up to Ganon. Let's see if we're able to find something. Maybe even Helmasaur King will have one on him.
So it might be a bit of an interesting situation to see who's in the lead, who will have the advantage between Zelgadisson and Sabotender. But Sabotender's already cleared T-Rock. Zelgadisson already virtually full cleared Pod. All they have to do is go just head for Helmasaur King and go. But of course, Sabotender will be able to check Pod a lot faster, more efficiently than Zelgadisson did, between having the bow and the mirror.
It's also going to be interesting to see if our runners do stop in Pyramid Cave to see if one of the sword upgrades is in a semi-vanilla location.
Mm-hmm.
And there we see our first instance of saving money with arrows, as they spent 2 wooden arrows to kill the red Igor and the hammer to kill the green one, so that they wouldn't spend the rupees.
Right.
I wonder if they're going to spend the 50 rupees to kill King Helmasaur.
Well, that would be more efficient, because I think it's, what, 6 wooden arrows? So 1 silver would be cheaper.
But they could go with hammer strats too.
Who knows?
Chat asking, what if the sword upgrades are in Super Metroid? I'm sorry, that is not on this channel.
And
So it would be
interesting,
fun to see.
is Zelgadisson using ether strats to take out the Pokies?
So the big question here is going to be whether or not trying to find that Master Sword is going to put Sabo away, as Zelga is going to actually be in real go mode instead of just searching for a sword, because Zelga, of course, is a talented enough runner to go ahead and kill Ganon with just silvers and a Master Sword.
I'm thinking I'm just projecting right now. Sabotender might end up, assuming we don't see a sword upgrade by then, might go through GT, and if you don't, might start checking random things if they don't get a Master Sword by the time they beat Agatu. Because I would think these runners are skilled enough. They could probably handle GT with just Fighter Sword with all the other things they've got.
Absolutely.
And yes, Carissa, the Zelda 1 Metroid Run crossover does exist. I have played that quite a few times. It's a neat thing.
I didn't even know that existed.
Well, it is pretty recent, like maybe within the last in recent months. Did Zelda yeah, I think Zelda just did check them.
Correct, they did go back as soon as they got that mirror. It's been so fun to watch Sabo over here trying to kill some things with the fighter sword and realizing it's going to take just so many slashes.
Meanwhile, we got Mafia going after Vitreous.
Looks like Vitreous was chasing them around a little bit, and they finally girded up their loins and were able to turn around and smack them around with the hammer a little bit to get one of their crystals.
And Hydropower surging through Pod.
Sabo going to be taking down the king. See if he can pull a Scar from Lion King here and take him to go see his maker.
And is actually using red wooden arrows for this.
Not sure if they just forgot to switch over there. Ooh, the King Helmasaur only giving out those bombs, so not having the upgrade for the sword that they need. Still have a couple chests to search an Ice Palace, though.
Assuming that you actually got a hit Helmasaur on the first try with the silver arrows, yes, that would have been cheaper.
Yeah, it does take 6 wooden arrows to kill King Helmasaur, so it would have been 10 rupees cheaper to hit him with silver.
And thankfully, this has not been a cheap seed. That we've been able to get a good bit of money here.
Absolutely, especially with the amount of places that they've had to check since the sea was so stingy with items there in the beginning.
Although it looks like Hydropower is actually pretty short on money, though I see they have 9 keys. That might be why.
I'm gonna say that they're set, even though jumping into Pod is we know, of course, not exactly where they need to be at the moment.
Although, does the key counter go into double digits? Is the game built for that? I guess if we'd ever find out, this would be the mode to do that, to try that in.
Absolutely. And I believe there are... Well, no, I didn't see any keys in the bottom, I do believe, but I might be proven wrong here. Let's just wait a moment.
And Zelgadison finishing off Trinix. Okay, so our tracker Carissa does say the key counter does go into double digits. Or positing that it should, I guess.
Now, Sabo here is down to 1 key, so... Excuse me, 2 keys, so it looks like we're probably going to see a Ice Palace bomb jump here, just to save a key.
And just time in general. Meanwhile, Zelgadis and not even bothering to finish off Pod is jumped into Ice Palace as well.
They may be hoping to find a sword upgrade, as killing Helmasaur with a tempered sword would be a whole lot easier than trying to take him down with a Master Sword, or at least save some rupees from killing with a Silver Arrow.
And apparently Mafia found the bow in T-Rock and immediately left.
They will be able to finish off Palace of Darkness, but
Yeah.
not much else.
And they just don't know that the mirror and the fire rod are there in T-Rock to be had.
As well as Bombos, making the whole thing a whole lot easier.
Although that would the trip from T-Rock to Ganon's Tower would be more efficient, but they need fire rod. They don't have fire rod, don't have Bombos. Both of them are in T-Rock.
That's definitely going to hurt them on time.
Yeah, definitely.
Sabo did find a sword upgrade, so that is actual go mode for them.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that. Holy cow! It must have been an Ice Palace.
Well, absolutely. And a great decision not to go around searching for swords before going through these dungeons, as they're going to jump right over to GT and start heading towards the end of our game here.
Goodness knows, I consider my routing decisions to be suspect. I definitely would have, if I had the means of clearing all the dungeons, I probably would have done that before searching random places just for a sword.
Oh, absolutely, especially if one has the skills that Sabo has already displayed in this run. Oh, that sword upgrade right there in the chest. Zelga showing his displeasure as well with the placement of that sword upgrade. We do know that the last sword upgrade is with the old man in the cave, which we've never actually found in the seed just yet. One of our other murders might, but Zelga and Sabo are going to be heading straight to GT after Zelga finishes off Palace of Darkness and Ice Palace here. So, big key guessing game.
Oh yeah, well, dang, we're there already. Shoot, I didn't realize we're at 7 crystals already.
That's right. So 22 big key locations in Ganon's Tower. One of them has the big key. We do not have the bot, but we can play for fun. If you decide, you can go ahead and put in your numbers in chat, as you can see many people are already doing, and that would be up to 22. Those of you being bold and going above 22, hey, do whatever your heart tells you to do, but I wouldn't do that.
So what number are you going for?
I'm going for lucky number 13. That's what I'm going for.
And Hydropower doing the same thing as Mafia did, finding the bow and leaving. Ooh, man. As for my big key location, I usually don't go for number. My usual choice is the Firebar room. I have never been right. not on seats that I've not in seats that I've been watching anyway.
And with the way this seat is played out, wouldn't be surprised to have it in Tower Room. Sabo did make a pit stop to pick up some keys, just to make their life a little easier in case they do find the big key in an earlier location. At least they don't have to stop.
Although there's at least a couple of guaranteed keys to be had in GT under pots, or under skulls rather. So.
There's one under a skull, and then there's also one 3 rooms before Moldorm 2.
There's also the one that you find if you go full right side.
Oh, absolutely. But who goes full right? You never go full right.
I've seen people go full right. I'm usually not one of them, but...
Zelga using one of my favorite tricks to throw that block for the Cane of Samaria over to the to the switch and activate it. They're going to be running through Palace of Darkness pretty quickly, as they already cleared most of it out and just need to take down the king.
And noticing Zelgadisson switching over to the wooden arrows as well. I mean, goodness knows they've got 1,100 rupees, but it's no sense in being wasteful, I guess. Then Hydropower doing the same thing, though they really don't have much choice.
So chests 1 and 2 not really having much for us there. We're going to be checking the left side here, see what the torch has for us. Looks like a heart container, so rip Bob on Sabo's side is going to decide that safety is more important than Bob's life. You monster. Though that is the third location down, we're going to go ahead and check 4 through 7 here. 5 is a blue rupee. 6 is a red rupee.
Which means 7 would be 100. Nope.
Another blue rupee. And a burrito. And 7 locations down. Let's continue our trek through GT as Zelga makes short work of the king.
Using 1 silver arrow. Oh, maybe it was 2. Let's say they're down 100 rupees.
Ooh, that miss is definitely going to cost them. Not that they're in a precarious financial situation, though.
Nah. Even if they stocked up on potions, they'd still have plenty of money.
So we are over an hour and a half in. We've got a couple of runners who dipped into Turtle Rock, which we saw was completely loaded with items after finding the bow, which we know was not the correct play because our bottom 2 runners full clear Turtle Rock and were able to find the mirror, the fire rod, and Bombos as well, enabling them to finish off the rest of the dungeons. Zelga's going to be heading over towards GT while Savo continues to search for that big key.
Yeah, I think on Mafia and Hydropower's side, we might be seeing some rage slashes in the future. And more keys.
Heart containers and the heart container. All right, so it looks like we're on our way to check Armos.
It was weird that we're seeing a whole bunch of keys, just not the one we're looking for.
12 chests checked so far. Let's see if lucky number 13 has it. One thing I didn't think of, with Sabo having 790, let's see if they decide to use 300 rupees, or if they're going to go with, what is it, 180 for the Armos Knights for wooden arrows?
Yeah, 180.
At the cost of time. And that's, of course, counting perfect fights, not counting any misses. 13 did not have it either, Bob not giving up the goods, so they are going down to Armos Knights.
And yep, we're sticking with the wooden arrows.
Being very careful.
Yeah, and I didn't notice before. You're hearing the money depletion noise every time you fire an arrow.
You just feel your funds running away. 14 small key, 15 is a replenishment of that money, 16 having the key, so we're going to go right side.
And Zelgadisson is going right side.
Oh, this is going to give Zelga a chance to catch up, and they have Tempered Sword, so their fight with Ganon is going to be a little bit easier here.
Definitely. So, how many keys do you need to go up GT? Was it 2?
You need at least, I think I saw earlier, you need at least 1 because of the guaranteed keys that you have left, but...
Right, I'm thinking about just how many locked doors there are.
19, 20, 21. It is in tile room. 22
Oh.
is gonna be where it's at. Let me look to see who the first person to say 22 was, since there's
Oh dear.
always at least one.
Oh dear.
Our Green Paradox with that good call. Wow.
And Zelgadison not being a horrible monster, letting Bob live.
And without a cape, they're gonna have to be dodging wall masters. This is gonna be fun to watch. Not that I believe Sabo's not gonna be able to do it. They've already shown their skill here, as the rest of our runners have as well. But
Right.
it's at least gonna be fun to watch them dodge anti-fairies and everything else, or not dodge anti-fairies.
Well, it took out the bunny beam, so. Probably waiting to take out the anti-fairy until afterward. Never mind.
Also, did not see a sword upgrade here, at least in the bottom. So
We've already seen all three outside of the one cave that we never found.
Correct, right. So it was a good call from Sabo to at least check all of the chests and ice valves before they made their way here. A big key found there, so we're going to be up our way onto the gauntlet. Going to cost us at least another 80 rupees to take out the Igors standing in our way.
Oh boy, Mafia looking to finish off Eastern. I want to say Hydropower was the only one to check Ped.
Correct, gave us a very early ped check, so they at least have the knowledge that it's not pedestal related.
Hydropower, well, Zelgadistan and Sabotender are long since go mode, but Mafia, is Mafia gonna take that gamble of all things? Nope, validation chest cannot have a sword. In retro mode, 3 of the swords are in chests, or in their typical location types. So 4th one is in a random single exit cave, which we never found. So it's just in some random cave somewhere.
Zelda deciding to use the silver arrows here with their excess money. Gonna have everything refunded to them, as they did not miss a single shot, and we know that there's 300 rupees back there. Meanwhile, Sabo is making his way up that gauntlet, killing these enemies that I have no idea what the actual names are. Go me!
I honestly don't remember what they're called either.
More than likely going to be seeing fire rod strats here, as we want to save a little bit of money.
Wow, was that a double kill?
It looks like it was. Absolutely
Nice.
amazing Lemless 2 fight there. We are going to be heading up to one of my favorite rooms in the entire game. The very, very satisfying first Wizrobe room. Feels so good.
And Hydropower getting the mirror. Now it's just a matter of where is Mafia going to go from here.
Also hoping the Hydra doesn't just dip out after this.
Well, it already dipped out once after getting the bow. It probably won't do it again.
Mafia looking like he's taking some time to think over their options. Sitting at 1, which we know is the right play. Hopefully they go with it. Let's see what happens. Zelga deciding to use the wooden arrows and save himself a boatload of money, while Sabo is checking those chests to see if maybe they have tempered, which we know that they won't.
But at least he now knows which direction to go. And he's probably looking for a sword upgrade, which we know won't be there.
Not switching over to hook shot here. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was kind of worried there for a second. They're going to spend a little bit of time, but they'll be ready to go as soon as this is done. And on to the last couple of rooms and Aga fight. Bloopy in the last chest there in Ganon's tower. Making our way up to the big bad Geometry Wizard.
And unfortunately, it looks like Mafia's kind of lost.
That or they just really hate bushes. Looks like a single there on the first hit for Geometry Wizard. This is going to be very interesting as far as the fight is concerned and how many Master Sword spins there's going to be. We might have a chance for Zelga to catch up and make a race out of this.
Notice Sogadison did use silvers to take out Lanmo too.
Aga 2 going extremely swimmingly here for Sabos. They're going to be making their way into the Ganon fight and showing us how to take out the bacon with Master Sword.
Yeah, it's like in chat doing the math. Only enough money for 17 silvers. I'm not sure if he'll be able to make it.
Yeah, let's hope that that their aim is true and they don't miss 13 arrows. Sabo moving on to phase 2 here, going to be playing a little bit safe with those Master Sword spin strats. Able to dodge the fire bats here, and let's move on to that other one. Ooh, does take a hit there, and with blue mail equipped, it is going to be 4 hearts worth of damage for that hit.
And Zelgadison getting trolled by a Moldorm too.
Very tense fight here as they're down to 1 heart. Oh, and no fairy or red potion, so only the cane left, which is going to slow things down a lot. Zelga has a chance here to catch up if the worst happens, and with Master Sword has to spin. This is going to be interesting to see here.
They have half magic, so they're able to. The magic will go good ways, and we made it to phase 3.
Made it to phase 3. Has to be super careful here. Hopefully they have some amazing item switches and don't miss a spin, especially when Ganon starts doing that phase 4 straight bat.
I don't. Mafia looks like they're retracing their steps a bit here.
One arrow on Ganon. We're getting so close. Oh man, don't want to give Ganon a hug in this situation, especially with Zelga right on your tail. Third hit here, being very careful to make sure that they don't give Ganon a hug with the last freeze. Arrow comes through. Ganon is down, exploding. Long as they make it through that bridge, they are going to be finishing here. Melee, are you going to be able to give us a official time from the channel? GG's in chat for Sabo Tender there, having an absolutely fantastic Ganon fight on one heart. Wow, the Vitreous fight, absolutely amazing. Zelga having a much easier time here since they have Temper Sword, don't have to worry about spin slashes. Already on to phase 3, gonna make it a pretty quick phase 4, and I'm pretty sure they still have a red potion as well. Unable to get the lamp strats going here, but not that it's going to make much matter here. Got 2 hits down, 3 hits. Four hits here. Beautiful fight for Ganon here from Zelgadison. Absolutely fantastic. And they're going to be the second one of our featured runners to finish here. So we're going to be moving back here to Hydropower. Hydropower was able to get over to Ice Palace, was able to find the Fire Rod and clear a lot of Trinex. So they're going to be moving on to Ice Palace. We are also going to be having Sabo come in for a quick interview. So that's going to be...
And I apologize for my bit of silence. My internet decided it wanted to be stupid for a moment.
It's all right. Do you have the channel up? Are you able to see what place our featured runners finished in?
Sabo Tender did come in first. I was reading off the time. Sabo Tender finishing first place with a time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 20 seconds. And Zelgadison coming in second with a time of 1:51:42.
Beautiful, and it looks like we are going to have both of them joining us here shortly, while Mafia is finishing off Palace of Darkness here, and Hydra finishing off Ice Palace.
And there's a total of 10 racers in this race. Sabo Tender and Zelgadison are the only ones that have finished so far.
And joining us here, we have Sabo Tender and Zelgadison. GG, guys!
Whoa, GG's.
Yeah, GG's.
Absolutely fantastic. Sabo, first of all, gotta say, you've made me a huge fan with that Fighter Sword Vitreous fight.
Hey, yeah.
How unhappy were you to get to that fight with just the Fighter Sword?
Very unhappy. That's something I don't normally do. I actually did my first swordless seed maybe about a week ago. So I had a little bit of practice doing some hammer strats, some bomb throws, but man, that is not a fun fight.
No, but you absolutely made a fan out of a lot of people in chat. Everyone was very hyped to see that, so absolutely fantastic job there. You both got to Ganon's Tower just about, Zelda, you were about a minute off, and you stayed that way. So what did you guys think about the seed overall in retro mode?
Go for it, Zelga.
Personally, I think I really like this mode. It's kind of allows you to have like interesting routing choices, like stealing a key from the back of Skull Woods, like I did, or things like maybe even going to the Fishbone Room, or maybe you get a fire rod on Laser Bridge whenever you got the bow in the first chest, or something like that. So, and you got to kind of be thinking about your keys, kind of like you do in Key Sanity as well. And it's another mode I like. So, I could see myself doing a lot more of this in the future.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Yeah, I mean, Key Sanity is fun, and this is kind of like a variant of, it feels like. You'd really have to manage your keys, manage just your money in general. It feels like I'm always watching the rupee counter in this mode. But, you know, with that kind of key, thinking about the key logic a lot, you definitely make plays like Laser Bridge for Fire Rod. Like, why not? You know, you could have been, you know, baited into leaving Turtle Rock so many times, but if you just kept going, you know, using up all your keys, then you would have been rewarded. So it is a fun mode. I think I need a little bit more time to get acquainted with it, but I guess with this result, I guess I'm not doing too badly in the mode.
No,
And
absolutely not.
And unfortunately, we did see a couple of our featured runners did get baited by the bow.
Very easy to do.
Yeah, extremely. Yeah, both Hydra and Mafia eventually they saw the bow and immediately dipped out. Now, of course, we did see the extremely rewarding Turtle Rock. Did you guys just decide that was the most logical place with the most chests, or what exactly was your thought process going into Turtle Rock there?
Yeah, that was my thought process, is that this is going to have a ton of items. It'll have, just a ton of items. I knew I couldn't get to the ones that were fire rod locked, but either way, I mean, it was basically by far my best option because I more or less last location the Titan's Mitts because I didn't want to go to Hera until I had the Titan's Mitts. So by the time that I got done with that and then just did Mire, I didn't have much else that made sense to do besides just go straight to Turtle Rock with the ridiculous number of items that it had.
It's funny you mentioned that because we thought when you found the bomb, you found a bomb on the way out of Escape. You found a 4-pack, and you know immediately we're like, oh man, that's huge. We're the only one of our featured runners to find the bomb pack, and it actually caused a disadvantage because you went immediately to East Death Mountain, found a couple of items, and were unable to finish Hera because of the fire source. Sabo was able to route it to where he was able to finish Hera on the first go, and really that started making the biggest change as far as the routing was concerned.
That's pretty interesting. That's where we started to kind of diverge there. Yeah, because I didn't get that bomb drop in Escape, and I thought, oh no, it's going to be this kind of run, is it? Yeah, I think for me as well, I felt like I had nowhere else to go other than Turtle Rock. All of the other dungeons, like I could have dipped into Pod, I guess, but then as we found out, that first treasure chest was bombs, although you can start using up all your keys, but I didn't really want to make that play yet. To get further into that dungeon. So I don't know, there wasn't really a whole heck of a lot else on the table. And given that I found, I don't know, was it Ether Medallion, I think is what the thing that kind of tipped me off to get back over to Turtle Rock. And I thought, I'm making a trip up the mountain, but I'm going to go for it. Why not? And it paid off in spades.
Yeah, that Ether Medallion was at the bottom of Mire, which you went to as soon as you found Quake. Another part that had you moving a little bit ahead was you were able to get that Quake Medallion immediately since you had the flippers when you visited Zora, and unfortunately, Zelga, you did not have that at the time. So it just, as much of a boon as it seemed to get that hook shot early, it was the routing decisions that it changed that made the big play between you guys, but still super close between you guys. Sabo, absolutely wonderful Vitreous fight. By the way, the third upgrade that wasn't with the old man, Skullwoods.
Ah, okay.
Where was that old man? Because I kept looking for him and never found him.
We never saw him. And on that note, we do have a third place finisher, Plasma Capo, at the time of 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 43 seconds. And unfortunately, Mafia Guido has decided to throw in the towel.
All right, GG still to Mafia Guido. They put up a great valiant effort here in the seed, and I'm sure that they will be practicing their retro runs here. Hydra Power is making his way through GT. We do have a question from Chad. How upset were you guys about the Tower Room Big Key?
Very upset.
Yeah, I was really hoping that like the extra keys that I had going into Gana's tower might actually be of relevance, and then there were like 5 keys in the basement that made it all just worthless. But yeah, the tower rooms are always, I don't want to say they're not fun because they can be, but this one was not.
Yeah, especially unfun without the magic cape there. with the Armos Knights and then getting the rupees immediately back, I saw you guys switching from wooden to silvers a lot. How much did that play not only into the later fights, but your thought process going into Ganon? Were you very scared about falling off, or maybe taking a death? Just run us through, like, what your thought processes were there.
For me, I guess, like, I knew that if I went into Ganon's tower with, like, I don't know, like about 500 rupees, I think I had maybe 500 or 600, that I'd probably have enough to get by, which is going to be pretty conservative and not miss with any of my arrows, be just very safe. And I don't know, Ganon was nail biting. I figured that someone was going to be pretty close to finishing, and I mean, I was 1 heart all the way from phase 2 on. So that was pretty stressful, and I thought that I had a red potion, and I did not. So that also freaked me out a little bit. So I just tried to play it real safe.
Yeah, we were kind of cheering you on there when we saw you were at 1 heart. We were rooting for you.
Absolutely rooting for you. It was a fantastic fight, and we were just hoping that Ganon wouldn't give you a big ol' hug there at the end.
Yeah, I was a little worried that was going to happen.
And Hydropower seeing the bad news about where the Ganon Tower big key is.
All right, we do have another question from the chat. How do you guys feel about possibly a retro journey?
I mean, I'd be interested in it. I don't know if it would be something that I would like go all out practicing for, but I would certainly join it. I mean, I enjoyed this race. And like I said, I feel like this is kind of like Key Sanity Light, and I enjoy Key Sanity, so I'd be interested in that.
And,
Yeah,
and one thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to agree with that sentiment. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would get involved if there was going to be something. It's a decent enough mode. It's fun.
And one thing that we were kind of fortunate in this seed, we weren't money starved in this one.
That's true.
You're both, all of our runners were easily over 1,000 rupees at some point or another. So buying keys, if keys needed to be bought, they could easily be bought.
Yeah, I mean, the last retro that I did, or the first retro, the only other retro I've ever done, it was really rupee poor. So we were farming all the way through it. So this one was kind of a nice change of pace with regards to that.
Yeah, with the way that the items were spread out, you didn't really have any choice but to really start checking out some of those weird locations that everything could be in. And we were kind of laughing because that turtle rock was just loaded, absolutely loaded.
Yeah, definitely one of the most loaded turtle rocks I've seen in a while. So that was a nice treat for sure.
I do believe Mafia bought keys, so that wasn't something. It's just maybe they didn't realize that they had the key able to go back in there, and that the big key could be back there.
So I did notice that at the time, that the last I saw, Mafia did actually have 0 keys, for whatever that's worth.
It's absolutely rough, but GG's to them either way, as we see Hydropower here going through the gauntlet and going to ether up those Stalfoses. Sabo, Zelga, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you guys are probably plenty busy with practice and everything like that. As I mentioned before, big fan of both of you guys, especially Sabo. That Vitreous fight made me a huge fan. Do you guys have... Do you guys have any thoughts about retro or anything else that you guys wanted to throw in about this?
I mean, as you kind of said, it's not a bad mode. I mean, at first I was a little wary of it. I didn't really kind of get what it was all about. I mean, this result for me, is kind of like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not bad at this mode, so maybe I'll keep doing it. It does seem pretty fun. Because Key Sanity was fun for me, so this one's kind of just like as Zelga, it's like Key Sanity like kind of a variant of. I don't really have too much else to say, so I'll just thank you guys, Melee Wizard, Sarcasm Powered, Cordy, and Carissa doing tracking. So thanks you guys for helping out here.
Yeah, and I'll definitely second all that. I really appreciate all the back end work that goes into putting these on, and I know that the daily races are things that get people involved, like this retro race. I feel like it's a mode that basically nobody ever plays, and I love seeing that we've got people that are going to join in and play it because it's on a daily race, and I think that's awesome. And if we get more of these, I'm really looking forward to seeing more retro, maybe in the upcoming fall tournament. But yeah, this is fun. And thank you guys again.
Oh, it's absolutely been a pleasure to commentate races for you guys. I know I've seen you guys before in the tourneys and stuff. I do want to ask before you guys go, is this a mode that you would recommend, if you want to maybe try Key Sanity?
I don't know. I'd say start with Key Sanity first, because at least that kind of locks you into the keys are specific to their dungeons, even if you find them in the overworld. And this one, you really have to be very aware of the key logic in all dungeons at all times, because you're just drawing your small keys from one pool. But I don't know. I would say try Key Sanity first, and then dip into this one after.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Just kind of having all the keys kind of locked together into a single dungeon is probably better for starting out. And there's, like you guys kind of mentioned, there's a lot of rupee management that goes into this too, that you kind of have to be thinking about at all times as well, whether it's for keys or arrows or like buying a potion to get into pod if you feel like going without the bow or things like that. Like little things that you just take for granted you're always going to have the rupees for aren't necessarily going to happen here. So I think I would agree, go with Key Sanity first.
And we have a 4th place finisher, RD Walsh V, I guess. Finishes 4th place with a time of 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 27 seconds.
I do want to let you guys know you both had a collection rate of 158 over 216. And Zelga, you finished at 149.48, where Sabo ended at 149.19. And that's how close you guys were.
It's always close. It's always close between me and Zelga for sure.
Yeah, every time. He's got the better of me lately, so I gotta catch up to him.
Always fun to hear a rivalry in the making. Guys, absolutely amazing. Melee, you got anything else for these guys?
No, not really. I think everything's been said.
All right, well, you can stick around if you want. Otherwise, we are going to sit here and finish watching Hydropower take on Geometry Wizard here. Let's see exactly how his placement goes. With the Tempered Sword and Silvers in his arsenal, I'm guessing that it's not going to be too rough on as far as the Ganon fight, so it's going to be more about how the placement of the beams go.
Not to mention having almost 1,000 rupees on hand.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna pop out, but I'll hang out in the chat for the rest of the race and cheer on a Hydropower here.
Absolutely, Snap. It was a pleasure to commentate one of your races.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, I'll be doing the same. So GG's again, everyone.
And same to you, Zabe. All right, Hydropower making short work of Geometry Wizard, going to be making his way over to Ganon. I'm still quite in awe of just how close Sabo and Zelda were there at the end at 30 seconds, especially with how rough this seed was. That's huge.
Yeah, also not to mention the routing differences on those last couple dungeons between them.
Yeah, it seemed like the finish of Pod really made a big difference on Sabo's side. With the way that he routed, he was able to finish off Pod in that first go.
Yep, Sports Hefe, the Fire Rod was on Laser Bridge, and oh boy. I think Hydropower is trying to one-up Sabo Tender doing this at half a heart.
Oh, you did it in 1 heart. How about half a heart?
Although I didn't look to see what they might have for potions, though I would think if they had a potion, they might have used it by now. Either that, maybe they're saving it for mid stage 2 or get to stage 3, or they do have a fairy. Never mind.
They do have a fairy, correct. Using Kane strats here, it's going to slow down the game a little bit, but at least they are very safe with that half heart. Don't have to use up that berry just yet. Able to move, I believe this is going to be them into phase 3, yes.
Still gotta be careful though. One errant fireball shot.
Or one big bacon hug.
Remembering to switch over to silvers.
Got that last hit here. Definitely found those arrows in the light world. Gonna see if they can get the glitch off. We're not able to do it. Dodging the bat there. Pretty clutch. Let's see exactly how it comes in. Second shot. Ganon takes the hit. Oh man, they're making me nervous with how close they're getting to Ganon. Playing really safe here, just to make sure they don't take a hit.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all.
And taking down with a half a heart, upstaging everyone else. Gets the kill here. Gonna be going and getting that Triforce and finishing off our featured runners.
Yep. Finishing in 5th place in this race with a time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 7 seconds. GG.
OMGG. Absolutely wonderful. We do still have 2 runners who have not finished correct. There's 7 all together.
There were 10 of people in this race with 3 forfeits. So there are still 2 more people off stream that are still plugging away at this.
And like we've mentioned a ton of times, but can't stress it enough, these are absolutely wonderful runners. Give them a follow. They're going to be doing a lot of randomized races on their channel. Follows are free, so please feel free to do that. Also follow our wonderful trackers, Cordy and Carissa, doing an absolutely wonderful job. Carissa with all of her their key sanity knowledge, keeping us commentators in check.
And also send a follow over to my fellow commentator, Sarcasm Powered.
And one to Melee Wizard.
And also thanks to Feasel and everybody at Speed Gaming for making all of this possible.
Absolutely. Not sure if we're going to get Hydropower in here for an interview before we do cut off. We are a little bit over time. A little bit. But we'll see if that's something that they do want to do. I believe they reserved 2 hours for the dailies. I think we had a 9 to 11 block, but I did not see anything else set up for this channel after this race is completed. All right. Hydropower is not going to be joining us for an interview, but GG to them.
All right, then. So that appears to be to end things off for us today.
Absolutely. We saw some amazing things. Fighter Sword Vitreous fight with Bomb and Hammer strats is going to be something that I'm going to be remembering for a long time. And give Retro a try, guys. It definitely looks like a fun mode, a little bit of a throwback, a lot to think about, and a lot of management if that's something that you're looking for in your randomizers.
Yeah, this is, I hadn't even seen Retro in action before doing this race. It's a really neat thing.
Oh, me either. I had to research exactly what retro mode was, and it definitely sounds like a lot of fun. It looks like a lot of fun from what we saw. Once again, follow everybody that you can, guys. Otherwise, I am Sarcasm Powered.
And I am Melee Wizard.
And we are done for the night. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, follow the Speed Gaming channels, and we will catch you on the next daily race.